Here's the recording of pages 85 to 87. Hammurabi and his Code. After the fall of Sargon's empire, confusion reigned as wars broke out among city-states. Nomads sometimes attacked, created new empires, and in time they too were attacked by other invaders. In the 8th century BC, a man named Hammurabi became king of the city-state of Babylon. At that time, Babylon, on the banks of the Euphrates River, was one of the smaller city-states of Mesopotamia. But Hammurabi set out to make it great. An ambitious, determined man, he became the ruler of a great new empire. The map on page 84 shows how large an area he conquered and ruled. Babylonians, who were the descendants of the Sumerians and Akkadians, became the greatest political power in this vast region. So on page 84 over here, it is the green area that came under control of Hammurabi. So the purple is Sumer. The orange here was under Sargon, but then it collapsed. And then after him, then Hammurabi came and he conquered this area. Not as big as Sargon. So Hammurabi ruled between 1792 and 1750 BC and proved to be a great leader and wise man. He was the kind of ruler who took a genuine interest in the day-to-day affairs of the empire. He sent his soldiers to live among the people and conquered city-states. He assigned officials to rule for him throughout the empire, and he appointed tax collectors to get money for his government and projects. For years, he devoted himself to building temples and canals. His most famous achievement, though, is a set of laws he left behind, the Code of Hammurabi. And here's a picture of here's Hammurabi on his throne, and then some people coming to him. And then this is a bronze statue that some people think that it depicts Hammurabi. How do we know about the code? In the winter of 1901 to 1902 of AD 1901 to 1902, in the southwest corner of what is now the country of Iran, a French archaeologist unearthed some long stone slabs covered with cuneiform. The slabs lay far from ancient Babylonia, so at some time a victorious king must have hauled them away as war trophies. When scholars translated the cuneiform, they realized it was a very complete set of laws from the end of Hammurabi's reign. These 282 legal decisions regulated life in a large empire. Engraved on stone pillars for all to see, the code addressed everything from theft and murder to marriage and divorce. So here's some of what they recovered. The code was important not just because Hammurabi made many laws, but because he applied a single organized set of laws over a vast realm. Hammurabi based his code on laws on even older Sumerian and Akkadian laws, which he adapted and integrated for his empire. He defined the purpose of his laws as to cause justice to prevail in the land, to destroy the wicked and the evil, and that the strong may not oppress the weak. The Code of Hammurabi begins with an introduction praising the emperor's military victories. Hammurabi pledges to treat conquered people fairly and proclaims that he honors their gods. He then sets forth for his empire a body of laws covering a wide variety of matters, such as prices, contracts, stealing, kidnapping, debt, and slavery. Here are some examples from Hammurabi's code. If a citizen has been accused falsely of a murder, the false accuser shall be put to death. A citizen who steals property from the temple or crown shall be put to death. Whoever receives his stolen property shall die. A son who strikes his father shall have his hand cut off. A citizen who puts out the eye of another citizen shall have his eye destroyed. A man who destroys the eye or breaks the bone of a slave shall pay in compensation 1/2 of the slave's value. If a citizen cannot pay his debts and has sold for money his wife or son or daughter, they shall work for 3 years in the house of their purchaser and shall receive their freedom in the 4th year. If a citizen's wife suffers from attacks of intermittent fever, he shall take another wife. However, he shall support his first wife for life. Some of Hammurabi's laws seem harsh to us today. An eye for an eye, for example, sounds like a bloodthirsty punishment. But in ancient times, it was a step toward controlling violence. In Hammurabi's day, if a man in one tribe injured a man in another tribe, then all the members of the injured man's tribe would seek vengeance against all the members of the other tribe, often by trying to kill them. Terrible blood feuds resulted. Hammurabi's code tried to ensure that only those who committed crimes were punished, and that the punishment fit the crime. Seen in the light of history, an eye for an eye may be a harsh law, but it was a law meant to help people live together more peacefully. Just organizing a set of laws for people to live by throughout an empire was in itself a great accomplishment. Hammurabi's code helped everyone know the rules. In a world that was often chaotic and brutal, and in a time when conquering kings could change laws to suit their whims, Hammurabi's code must have brought a sense of fairness to many people. It gave some order to society and helped people view the world as a more stable, predictable place. We should also remember that in an age when might often made right, the Code of Hammurabi, at least, attempted to protect people without much power. The strong shall not oppress the weak was a main principle of the code. That was an important step forward in law and a sign of just how far civilization was advancing. By the time of Hammurabi's code, Sumer was no longer a great political power, but its culture was still flourishing. Sumerian literature, science, and learning were preserved in schools. They continued to be taught for another 1,500 years. Sumer's cuneiform and deities, its ziggurats and city-states, survived under new names and in new forms. Sumerian power had slipped away, but Sumerian achievements would influence the progress of civilization for centuries to come. And here are 2 figures atop a 7-foot pillar, which bears the entire code of Hammurabi. One is Hammurabi himself, the other is the enthroned Shamash, Sumerian god of justice. And that's the end of the reading of pages 85 to 87.